Hey, in this video, we'll talk about how you can connect your Elements AI agent to make.com. We'll be using a Google form as an input of data, but we'll also talk how you could use a CRM or any other data source. We'll build out the whole workflow step by step, so I'll walk you through everything. So let's get started. We are going to make.com, and the first thing, as I mentioned, is to connect a Google form. So we click on Google Forms and we click on Watch Responses. This means it will be triggered when a new response to the form is created. We are going to select the connection. So if you don't have a connection, you go and sign in with Google, then you just add permissions. But since I already have that, we'll use that one. And now we need to supply the form ID. So let's create a new form. Let's name it Helix AI test. And the agent that we're going to use needs the name. We'll make it mandatory and an email. And we'll also make that mandatory. So now we are going to publish this. And this is not really important, but we can say anyone with a link. And we are going to publish. Okay. So if we go here, what will happen? Yeah, it will open the form. So let's also name it here. Yes, and now we need the ID. So to get the ID, you go to the URL and you copy this chunk. So after the slash, you have this big chunk of text. We copy that. We can put a limit to be 1. We can put it from now on. And let's test it out. So we are going to go to the form. We are going to click Arco Helix. We submit the form and now we run it once. And we can see that we got data. So when you got this bubble in the top right corner, and if you select here, you'll see my email. So next step is to connect to Relevance AI. They do have a module, but I find that it has some things that are not necessary. And by using HTTP, you can connect it to any platform. So let's make it more general. Now we need the URL and some other things. If we go back to the Relevance AI, so this model is a lead research tool. It accepts, as we mentioned, contact name and lead email, and then it finds the website using LLMs, Google searches, scrapes LinkedIn, and does the same for the lead. So it has a bunch of operations it does. To connect it, we go here, and this would enable us to use it through the UI, so not that useful. But if we go to the API, we will see all the things that are needed. This is the URL that we have to call that will let us make.com know like which URL it needs to hit. So we can copy that. And this is the format of the data that we're going to send. Okay, so we go here, we copy the URL, and we are using a post method. So how do we know that? Because we are sending this information. Next, we will copy this body information. Body type is raw and content type is JSON. You don't really need to know what that means, but that just indicates in what format are we going to send the data. Now we need to supply the contact name here and the contact email here. So if we click here, You'll get the responses that we got from the Google form. So we can click on name and then text answers, and we keep on clicking until we see the value, which is 1. And then we do the same for the email. Keep on clicking and submit. We want to parse the response. That means that when we get the response, it will also be in this JSON structure, and we won't make.com to parse it, so we can just click on the field that we want, so we don't have to do anything more. Now we can save this, and if you want to make it private, then you can select it here and pass an API key, but I leave that for another video. Now when we run this, so let's also save this data to HubSpot. So we can go to HubSpot and let's create a contact. Create a contact. We're going to use my test connection method compact. Then properties. We're going to send the name, and we can get that from the Google form. So the same way we were sending it to Relevance AI. And we can also get the email. And we can get that the same way here. We'll add some more things later on. And now, okay, let's run this module only, so we'll provide these two values that would be here. So if you want to test it without running everything, you can provide the input values that you're expecting. Now this will take a couple of seconds because we saw that it's running a bunch of models in the background, but it will finish soon. Then I'll show you how to add the data to HubSpot and also how to add a note. So it's finished. We will click here. We will go to data, output, and we can see that we are getting the company LinkedIn URL, company industry, number of employees, lead summary, company summary, and so on. Now, if we wanted to add something like LinkedIn URL, we could go here and then select it from the output and add here. You can also go and select company name, provide a company name also. Okay, then provide the name. We have a website, but we can provide a company size, number of employees, and so on. So you could add all of this data because we are now creating just a contact. We could also create a company, so, and then add all the data that we saw here. I won't do that now, but that's something that you can easily continue to do on your own. Okay, now we are going to add a note and we're going to use my test account, and you select this connect app, and now it's connected. So we also want to add a note to the contact and store all the information from the lead summary and from the agent. So what we need to do, we need to select the category. We are using HubSpot defined because that's not our custom. connection nodes that's already in HubSpot, and we want to append the node to the contact, and we will going to need the ID, and the ID we'll get the ID once we create a contact with HubSpot. Activity date we can use create it here, and node body we'll go back to the output of Relevance AI. We will add lead summary, and we will add company summary also. So now let's run the whole thing end to end. Okay, and we submit here. We're going to run it once. We got the data. Now again, it's processing through Relevance AI. It will again take a couple of seconds. Then it will create the contact in the CRM, and afterwards it will create a note also. And we can see that everything was successful, that the note was added, and also that the contact was created. So this workflow can be built a little bit differently. So you could have a watch function on the HubSpot CRM. So this would watch all of the objects, but you could watch just contacts created. And then when something is added to your HubSpot, then you trigger this automation around the Relevance AI agent, find missing information about the lead, and then also perform some lead scoring and save everything in the CRM. And then based on the data you found, determine next steps, like is the lead qualified or not, and then determine actions. So I'll now pause and open my test CRM account, and then we'll take a look. Was everything successful? Okay, so here we can now view what's happening here. I paused the video because I didn't want it automatically opens contacts in my main CRM, so I didn't want to expose that information. But if we go now contacts, you see that we got the contact that we've inputted. So if we go to view record, we will see the note. Ideally, this should be spaced like this. But we got the company summary and also the lead summary, and that's saved here. So that's all. If you have any questions, post them in the comments, and I'll also leave a link where you can book a call if you want to build AI agents and connect them to your workflows, and a link to a form where you can submit your requests for automations.